Hi, everyone. We're here today with Holly McCaig from Holly Pixels. Hi, Holly. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so excited you're here. And you guys should be super excited too, because Holly's one of those people where you're like, oh, I love Holly. I wish I could be Holly. She does so many cool things. She's so creative. She has like a million ideas, and she can probably teach every single course that you've ever taken. She knows how to do it. But we're going to talk today about what she's doing in her business right now. So you want to tell us a little bit more about you and what's going on with Holly Pixels?
Sure. So, you and I met at a time when I was trying to explore and figure out where I needed to go with my world. As somebody who's in their 40s, it's like, okay, you really should have it together, but maybe you don't. And I was struggling. I was having a hard time trying to figure out where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And it kind of hit me like, okay, there's one last thing you can do before you need to just start hitting the pavement and finding a job. And that was, I loved lettering, and I had the iPad Pro, and I before that I had done calligraphy and brush lettering and that sort of thing. And the iPad Pro started being one of those things that was new to everybody. And I said, okay, there's something here that I can do and teach and help other people learn how to do things with it. And so I said, okay, you're going to just give everything away. You're going to give it all away. You're going to give away a free course, and you're going to give away a free course on lettering, and you're going to give away a challenge every month, and you're going to do a Facebook group, and you're just going to build this audience. Because I kept seeing like other people talk about this. It was like, I don't know what the ratio is, but you give away a certain amount and you charge for a certain amount. And I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it. So I created a free brush lettering course in I launched it in January of this year. And I put it on my YouTube channel, and I also created a companion workbook guide to go with it. And it was one of those things where like you didn't have to buy the guide. It was one of those things where it was like a nice thing to have. But people were buying it, and my YouTube count, my subscriber count went up, and it was like I had a Facebook group at the time, and it was growing, and my email list was growing, and it was like, okay, you're on to something here. This is really your passion, and you enjoy doing this, and people really enjoy following you and learning from you. And so I would do little YouTube lives, and people wanted to know, like, well, how do you do this in Procreate on the iPad? How do you do that? And I would just started doing blog posts and videos, and I started like reviewing brushes for it. And then that world was doing really, really well. And I thought, okay, now you have to stabilize yourself somehow, right? So you need to come up with some other things you could be doing. And I said, okay, this digital planning world is happening, and people are using their iPads to plan digitally, just like they would traditionally. So let's start exploring this and figure out how I can mold the two together. And I started talking to some friends, and we created our own line of planners to install into the GoodNotes app on the iPad. And then I would kind of cross-train some things like, well, you can draw your own stickers in Procreate, and you can bring them into GoodNotes. And so that's kind of where we're at. We're at this like iPad creative world, on the site, and it's doing phenomenal. And I can't be more pleased. And I keep thinking like, well, what's the next thing I can do with it? Because it's so exciting and it's so much fun. And like you said, I have a million ideas, but just not enough time to do them all. So that's kind of where we're at. I've been teaching it, and I just keep trying to think of new ways to make that better than what everybody else is doing out there. Try to bring more people in. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with everything, and I love it.
Awesome. And so because it takes, when you say, I just think of things, I think these things just come naturally to you. I've seen like even your photography that you did before. I bought those before. I love those. I love your planners. So, have you always just been like this since you were a kid and just had all these great ideas streaming, or were you always crafty?
It's funny. I've always been artistic, but I didn't take any art classes until I just went to college and decided I wanted to study graphic design. And so I just didn't, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't want to take art. I went to a really small high school. There was one art teacher. It wasn't a whole lot of, a whole lot there that really impressed me. And I wasn't really into drawing like realistic stuff. And I didn't, so it was just kind of those things where I just didn't go down that route. But I was always drawing and I was always creating. And I was involved in scrapbooking and I was involved in photography. And I just did that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think so. And I feel like I'm kind of cursed too, because like packaging, I will buy anything if the packaging looks really good, like it's like, this is beautiful, sure, but I don't need that, So I feel like I had that eye, like I'm the type of person who can be driving down the road and be like, they need to change the font on that billboard. It looks horrible. I mean, that's just kind of, I don't look at the message. Like I look at the design, and same thing with like commercials, I look at the design and how pretty it is. And is it going to like draw me into it? So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. I think that's like just one of those things you can't really learn it. It's just something it's from lots of observation and just because you're probably just genuinely interested in that.
Yes, absolutely. I wish I could take the time to learn more about like videography. I think that is fascinating. That whole world of shooting and editing. And I try to do a little, but it's just, I don't do it very well. But I would love to be able to like spend time on that. That would be so much fun to me.
Yeah. No, your videos look great. The tutorials that you do, I mean, your YouTube channel is wonderful.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that. Like, I'm sure there's other people out there who are just multi-passionate like you are. Like when you were thinking about narrowing it down, and I honestly don't think, sometimes like I narrow things down because I'm bad at them, right? Yes. But let's say someone's like you, a Renaissance woman, where you're just really good at everything. How were you able, did you say, I looked at sales, or did I look at my happiness level? Like, how did you cut things out?
I think it was a combination because I really had to love what I was doing, and I had to be excited about it. I had to be passionate, but I also had to make money. And one of the things that I discovered in these last almost 4 years has been that I'm really not the type of artist that is supposed to be a service-oriented artist. I don't think people should hire me to go paint a mural for them. I don't think that I don't feel like that is where I succeed. And I think that is not professionally, like, I don't think I couldn't do it. I think emotionally, that's just not who I am. Like, I'm not comfortable with that. So I'd rather create things that people can either, more passive type things that people can like buy and learn from me, or buy my art or something like that. But I think definitely the whole, like, got to make money and got to love what I'm doing at the same time. So, and there have been a lot of things I've done that I love doing that I don't make money, but I also know my limits. And I think you can get overwhelmed by trying to do too many things, too many different things. And then that's where you fail. So like, I think I could do really well at something else if I added it in, but I need to have another person, another me to spend the time doing the marketing, because it's more than just creating, and more than, then there's that. You have to really be out there talking about yourself and making it known. So, and I don't have that. I wish I had that.
Did you try that before? Is that how you kind of knew?
Oh yeah. I've tried doing way too many things at once, and I'm like, why is nothing catching on? Well, it's because I'm spreading myself thin, and I can't give everything its all. And I learned that that's just not where I need to be. I need to be focused in one area and really give it its all. So yeah.
So let's talk about, so you've narrowed it down to digital planners, and, just within that world, there's so many different things. I mean, sometimes people say digital planning and they really just mean a PDF you print out, which isn't really digital planning, right? So within that scope, how did you narrow it down to what you wanted to do, and how have you seen it kind of defined in other places?
Sure. Back in this is going to date me, but back in 2004 or so, the digital scrapbooking world kind of took off, right? People were taking traditional scrapbooking and they were doing it in Photoshop. And I discovered it. I was working in corporate America and I discovered it, and I was immediately drawn to it. And because I had done scrapbooking before and I liked that creative process. And I think I liked buying supplies more than I liked doing it, but I liked the process, and because I had that, because I was selling digital scrapbooking kits and things like that. And by the way, we used to burn the DVDs. They would buy a CD from you. So I would be burning them and making the label, and I would mail them out. That's how we sold our kits back then. And so I think I saw that I had that skill. And then I saw what was being done in the planner world. Like, you walk down any craft store aisle and that's kind of almost becoming the new scrapbook, like people want to get creative with their planners and they want to make them look cute and they want to add like stickers and all these little things to it. And I thought, okay, there's a way to mold this so that my knowledge of the digital scrapbooking and that pretty realistic looking stuff can come into the planner side of things. And so that was kind of like our thing. It was like, I don't want it to just be some boring, planner. I want it to look cute at the same time. So, now it's like, okay, we can make all the same things that they make for traditional planners. We can make little charms. We can make little planner clips. We can do all of that stuff. And so that's kind of was my thing. It was like, I want it to look cute and fun like everybody's doing in the crafty world. So that's what got me there.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Heidi Swap had named her planner the memory planner, right? So there's like so much work that goes into these planners. They're like works of art.
Yes, exactly. And it kind of goes back to, I didn't really like scrapbooking at the time. I just liked buying the products because they were so pretty and I liked making them. Like I actually had contracted with a couple of paper planners at the time, or paper scrapbooking companies at the time. I designed some papers and some stickers and stamps and stuff. So like I knew what went into that. And I thought, okay, we have to bring this into this. It's a little limiting because those apps are kind of limiting compared to say scrapbooking in Photoshop or something like that. So you kind of have to find your workaround, but that's where that stuff works when you can educate people how to use it and how to do it right. So having the tutorials and the videos really does kind of like sell it to people so that they know what they need to do and how to use it.
Yeah, I think a huge part of your planners that makes them kind of special and stand out is that they have built-in stickers that match the colors and branding of the planner that you purchased.
Yes. And I have a secret for you. I don't know when our podcast will go live, but on the 15th we have a new line of planners coming out. When we launched the first group of planners, I mean, I get emails every day like, well, can we have this? And can you do this? And can you do that? And so I was like, okay, I really need to take what everybody is saying and figure out a way to make things a lot more universal. And so that people can do more with it. So we've really just, we've given people more options. So now like there's going to be an option for people who don't have GoodNotes can use them. There's going to be ways to edit tabs now. It's just going to be so much more, I think, flexible for people. So I'm super excited about it. And I love that we've like created these fun colors and everything. And, having the add-ons that people can buy, like, the stickers every month and things like that. I just enjoy doing it. It's so much fun.
That is very exciting.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about, because I'm sure my channel does a lot of focus on how to make planners, right?
Yes.
So I know everyone's going to want to know, how do you make your planners?
Sure. So because my background in graphic design, I'm an Adobe girl. I mean, I use Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator. Those are my three tools. And I know in the digital scrapbook world, a lot of people are using like Keynote and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to use it. It's just not, I mean, I know how to use Keynote, but I'm not proficient enough in it to make it worthwhile. So I design everything. I design all my layouts and things in Photoshop. So I photograph binders and I alter them and do all that work in Photoshop. And then all of the layouts are done in InDesign because that's just second nature to me. All of the planners are put together with InDesign because of hyperlinking. That just makes it so much easier. And then all of our stickers, a lot of times I use my iPad to sketch out my ideas for drawing stickers and things like that. And then I bring things into Illustrator. I'm a vector girl, so I like to do everything with the pen tool and draw in there. And so that's kind of where all our stickers come out of that. So I utilize pretty much all of Adobe to do all of our designs. And, you mentioned people wanting to know how you do it. And we've talked about one of the girls that works with me on some of these, she and I have talked about doing kind of like a course, a mini course on how you can take that and make your own from scratch, from that to that. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I don't know when and how we'll achieve that. But people want to do it. But then, there are people who don't like, people are just fickle because they want I want my planner to be like this. I want mine to be like that. So why not be able to show them how they could do it? So, but I don't know. It's a thought. It's out there in the cloud somewhere.
Right.
But yes.
So yeah, I'm with you. I can't use Canva. I can't use Word. Like, I know they're easier, but they're so hard and it doesn't do what I want to do. It's so much more frustrating than Adobe.
Well, somebody was asking me, because I recently did, sorry, my dog is back there making snot noises. So I recently did a 3-part thing on my YouTube channel where I showed how I sketched everything out in Procreate, and then how I colored and shaded it, and then how I like brought it into Illustrator and I vectored it. And somebody goes, well, why can't you teach us how to use Affinity Designer on the iPad? And I'm like, because I don't know how and I don't like it. I'm like, I've been using Adobe since, gosh, mid-90s. Why would I mean, I know they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and you probably can, but I bought it and I downloaded it and I'm like, this is not intuitive. I can't figure this out and I'm just not qualified. Here, go to this person, you know, right? So I know my limits now, like what I'm capable of doing. So
yeah. Holly, why can't you just do everything?
I wish.
Learn how to make this in every application that exists.
Right? Well, and that's why people keep saying like Keynote, and I'm going, oh my gosh, am I really going to have to like start teaching people things in that? I really don't want to, but I don't
like Keynote either. I think the problem is there are some free tutorials out there on Skillshare and YouTube, and they're all Keynote.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it's just not where I am. I'm not proficient enough in it. And I have to be proficient in order to get it done. So yeah, like right now, I've taught myself how to use Final Cut Pro, and I'm trying to put together a video for the launch of these. And I'm like, in over my head.
Final Cut Pro, but you have the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite.
I know, but I love Final Cut Pro. I don't know why, but I do. I love it. It's so much. I don't know. I like it. I do. I know somebody said that to me. They're like, how come you're not using Premiere? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like it.
Just stick with what you like.
I think I did a poll. It's probably gone off my Instagram. I did a poll yesterday asking people, did they prefer one or the other? And most people were Final Cut Pro. It was kind of weird. It's kind of strange. I expected more Premiere, but
I think because Premiere is it's so overwhelming when you see the workspace for the first time. You're like, I'm out of here.
Yes. Yes. And I think if people who have been using like iMovie, you know, all along, Final Cut Pro is kind of like that next step. Is kind of like similar. So yeah, it is what it is.
So all of your colors and your branding and your fonts all look amazing. What is that process like just to make everything pretty look like?
You know, it's funny because I jump around sometimes with that. Like I kind of like want to like update my branding at times. I'm like, oh, I'm getting bored with this. So I want something that's a little bit more me at the time. But I feel like I've nailed it now. I feel like I figured it out, like where it is I'm trying to be with that. And I discovered that when I started kind of updating my Instagram feed a little bit more. I said, okay, I want to draw more and I want to illustrate more and I want to do more of that, but I want everything to have a cohesive feel to it. And so I thought, okay, let's explore color palettes and see where you go with that. And I don't know, I just kind of like, this was what I picked and what I liked, and everything seemed to be like working, and I can use it in all the different pieces I do, and it seems to work. So I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it too is just what I see out there, what I see in packaging. Like I told you, I'm a sucker for packaging, you know? So if I see something like this, I'm like, oh, those colors are amazing. You know, okay, how can I incorporate that into what I'm doing? So as far as fonts go, I have designed some of my own fonts, and I haven't done any in, gosh, over a year and a half probably. And I would love to do more again. Time, you know, so I try to make sure that everything is readable and easy to read, easy to see. I think people get overwhelmed because they want all the scripty fonts and, you know, all of this. And I just think it has to be clean and easy to read. That's kind of my thing, you know. I don't know.
So really just being observant and just having an eye and paying attention when you see stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Just being drawn into pretty things.
Yeah. So I guess, because everything in the shop is so pretty, and I know that you have other people that are designing planners in your shop. How does that process look like if I have people that are like, oh my God, I just saw the interview with Holly. How can I get into her shop with my planner?
So like right now, it was always going to be just about me and what I'm doing. And I then ended up, I kind of ended up talking to a friend about doing the collabing with me on the digital planning side of things. And she since is no longer with me, but I had asked my Instagram manager, who manages all my like comments and things like that, if, and she's a graphic artist too, because I've hired her for other graphics things that I've needed done. And I decided, are you interested in coming in and doing this? I think it's a really lucrative market. And I think there's a lot that can be done, because I knew I couldn't do it all. If I did, it would be like delayed a whole lot longer. So it was one of those things where I did like kind of an invite thing, a special kind of like reach out to that person. And then with my brushes, like people who are, there's one other girl selling brushes with me, and somebody who's got some mock-up stuff in there too. And they've all just been like personal invitations because I've admired their work. I really like what you do. Are you interested in creating something? If you want to create one thing that's at least exclusive for us, can you do that? And then if you're interested in selling more, this is what you can do and how it can work out. So at this point, it's just been a invite thing. If I really like what they've done, I mean, I'm always open to if somebody messages me and says, hey, I'm interested in this. Can you check out my work? I mean, there's no guarantee, so because I'm kind of, I'm one of those people that's like, if you're going to do it, I need you to do it. Like, I need you to like be consistent, and I need you to be talking about it, and I need you to be, putting it out there. And because I can't market all the time, and so I need you to kind of jump into. So that's kind of my only real stipulation with it is, if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Right.
So
no, good point.
Yeah.
So, when we talk about though, your style, right? Like, how would you describe it? And was that based on market research and surveys you got, or just looking at sales numbers and knowing what was going to sell and what wasn't?
I have to like it, and I think I have to see what else is out there at the same time. And when it comes to say like the planning stuff, it was really a lot of it based on like what I'm seeing out there now in the traditional world, and what I can see people posting. And so it's more like that kind of thing, like just kind of getting a feel of where the popular stuff is, and then going with that kind of direction with it. So that's kind of where I went with it. It wasn't like anything too deep, really. It was like, okay, this is going to be taking off. I look around on Etsy at digital planners, and you can look and see like if somebody's stuff is sold recently, by looking at the bottom, you can kind of see like if it's been relisted and that sort of thing. And so you get a general idea if something's doing well. And the girl I had originally started out with to collab with it had sold some of her GoodNotes planner stuff in her Etsy shop. And she kind of told me like how well it was doing. And she goes, and I'm not really like doing anything special on Etsy. I'm not relisting, and I'm not I'm not renewing, and I'm not doing these things. I'm not really even doing a whole lot of keywords. It's just that there's not a lot in there now, so people are finding it. And I knew how to use Etsy, I knew like, oh, you got to do this. I knew how to SEO Etsy. I know how to do all that stuff, and I know what you need to do. So it was like, okay, if you're not doing that and it's working, then obviously there's a need for it. So, Yeah.
So what's your best seller in the shop?
Well, right now, let's see. It's between two things. So for lettering, it'd be the companion brush lettering guide that I sell. That's a very, very popular, and it's been selling since it launched in January. I'm amazed at how many times that still sells. And as far as digital planners go, so the 3 we have in there now are actually, we decided we want to retire them when the new ones come out, only because there's going to be a little bit of a difference in them, as far as how they're set up, better, I think. But we will be selling the stickers sets for those in the shop to match for the new planner. So people want to still kind of like decorate in that style, they can. But the pixel planners do very well. I think it's between those two. I think it's the companion work guide and then the pixel planners. Those sell pretty well. So Yeah. I'm always amazed that people are buying planners in like August. And it's like, it's so like, wow, it's August and but I think what I like about it is it's flexible. You can start any time of the year, and we create our planners so that they're blank. So you can set your weekday start when you want. You can set your, if you want to do a Sunday start or a Monday start, you can, and you can use it any time of the year. So yeah, I'm just like, wow, I'm amazed by that. When we first launched, I was so shocked about how many we sold. I was like, this is really happening? This is crazy, I mean, and it was June, I think. I can't remember. June, July, I don't remember now. And it was like, wow, this is weird. This is so weird, which is why we're super excited about the new ones getting so close to the new year, We think they'll do really well too. So, and we've got a lot of new ideas up our sleeves as well that we're going to introduce. So I'm excited.
Cool. And so, so let's just talk to you. Have a ton of freebies that you give away. Like, what is the most popular download in your freebie library?
Oh gosh, let's see. So it wasn't when we first started the freebie library, we were only putting out like one thing a month. And I thought, okay, this has to be better. I mean, this has to be more worth their while. And so I have a group of ladies who we call our ambassadors, who actually share screenshots of their planner spreads for us. And that's what we post on Instagram and that sort of thing. And so listening to them has been really helpful. Like, what are some things you're interested in? What are you thinking about? And so we knew then that it was like, okay, if we want to get this momentum going, we need to make the free side of things more worth their while. And so I just said, okay, we're gonna come up with these different things. But I think we just launched the, oh gosh, what are they? They're like pocket journal page things. So they look like little plastic sleeves with the little pockets, that are kind of cut out. So if people want to do some little memory planning inside their journal, they can, or they can actually put one on one side and they can add pictures and they could put things like, so it looks real to them and they like that. So that's been pretty popular download recently. And then our divider templates too. I just put out a tutorial on how to do it in Procreate, how you can mask it, your patterns from say like Creative Bargain or something like that. So I think those have been our most popular, but the charm, we have a little heart charm and everybody loves that. It's so cute, so they can decorate their planners. And I know it's not like a real planner that you're like, oh, look how pretty and look at all this. I mean, it's on your iPad, but for some reason, people really love to be creative with it. So, we try to give them a bunch of different things that they can use with it. So, yeah. No
one wants to stare at a blank page.
No, not at all. I've had people tell me like, this is so cumbersome to have to create and do all this. And they're like, oh, well, then maybe that's not for you. Maybe you should you should just go buy a Franklin Covey planner and you just write in it. You'd be happy, I mean, it's not for you. That's fine.
Very true. Yeah. There are some planners out there that are just aesthetically just very plain and boring. And that's okay. They're for maybe corporate or business.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We get requests for more masculine looking ones, which we're excited. We are going to be launching one that's black. So it'll be, clean and black and simple. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm always surprised when men subscribe to my channel or write in or buy my products because I'm so female centric with my branding.
Yeah.
But you can never tell what people are going to like.
Same here. My branding is very female, very, very feminine looking. And there are a lot of planner guys out there. They love it.
So this is the most exciting part. So I don't know if you guys know, but on Holly's channel the other day, she did an unboxing of the GlowForge, which is so awesome. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, those are so cool, but those, what are you going to do with it? That's so expensive. And then Holly bought one. And then she was like, on top of it, she's like, so there's a couple variations, but we went with the pro version because we're using this for our business. And I was like, oh my God. So do you love it? And what are you doing with it?
Yeah. So let me just tell you the story. So it was like the week after my birthday, and my brother and sister-in-law were like, why don't you come up and stay up here with us and we'll make pollo fundido and margaritas and we'll have fun and we'll do this. And, they don't play around. And it's like, okay, sure. That sounds good. So after one margarita, and then my brother goes, have you seen this GlowForge thing? And I'm like, well, hold on, let me get another drink and we'll talk about this, And so then he pops on YouTube and he's showing me things and I'm like, we have to have this. And I go, I go, we've got to get this. We've got to get this. This is going to be so perfect. It's going to be so amazing. We need this. What can we do with it? This is so cool. I could do my lettering stuff with it. And then after like the third margarita, you're like, yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it.
This is how Holly makes business decisions.
Yes. And I said to him, I said, I cannot drink tequila with you anymore. This is not good for me. But we decided on it. And then I said, okay, but let's think about it. So like I ended up deciding to apply for like a different credit card that had like a 0 interest and stuff and cash back. And so I said, that's going to take a little bit of time to get in, you know, so that's going to help me think about it. And that came in, and I go, okay, I guess I'm going to do it. So I did it. And oh my God, it's the most amazing thing. It is such a cool device. We've been creating keychains. We create like the charms and things like that with lettering and drawing and that sort of thing with it. And then my brother does a lot of 3D printing. He creates like the Star Wars costume pieces and stuff for that. And he's been like, I need this piece done, but I can't do it with a 3D printer because it's too small. And I'm going to do it on the GlowForge. I mean, so we've really, really got our money's worth out of it. And if anybody out there watching this has never decided to become an affiliate for someone, do it, because that has helped me almost pay for my machine, is being an affiliate and having those links out there. Yeah, it's really, really helped me. And I've only done the one video. I need to do more, I think. But it's cool. It's so cool. And it doesn't take up a ton of space. It's, you know, like, I don't know, maybe like not even like maybe 3 feet wide, if that. It's or long. It's not very big. So it's been really, really cool, really fun to try out and play with and do different things.
What's the learning curve on like learning how to use it? And are there a bunch of templates out there for you to use already?
Sure. So with GlowForge, once you buy one, you get access to your account within their system. It's all based on a cloud service. So it's not any kind of application you have to download or anything like that. You can use it through your iPad, through your phone if you need to. And they have templates and things that you can buy and use. So like you could even make boxes and clocks and coasters, and just like you can do wood with it. You can do all kinds of fun things with it. I don't know that anybody is like selling anything third party wise for it, but you can use SVG files, which are what you can find in Etsy that people use with their Cricut and Silhouette machines that cut out the designs for vinyl and that. And so any of like wood signs people are doing, they're doing the hand lettering or they're buying the SVG. And all you do is you upload the SVG file to the application that's on the cloud through there. Tell it, if you've bought your material through GlowForge, it has a little, what do they call it? I can't remember what they call that code. QR code, I think that's what you call it. Mm-hmm. And it will, the camera will read that and know exactly what material is in there and know what settings it needs to be. And then you just hit the print button and it does it for you. And then it looks amazing. It's so cool. It's just so amazing. So a lot of the stuff we're doing, like, I don't know if I have one here. This is one where I lettered my name. It's probably backwards on your screen, but I lettered my name and cut out so you can kind of see the acrylic there, mm-hmm. and cut it out as an SVG file and put it on a piece of the clear behind it using, I have to use a special like welding kind of material, welding liquid that it welds it together. But I mean, that was all done on the GlowForge. It's so cool. So being able to incorporate like my art, I've cut out some of my art pieces as little wooden pins that I sell in my Etsy shop and that sort of thing. It's fun. It's so much fun. It really is.
Like, you can make stickers there, right? We could all just throw away our Cricuts and Silhouettes and start.
Yes, you can cut. And one of the things that's really neat about the GlowForge is that I could take a piece of white paper and a black Sharpie and draw something, stick it in the machine and let it scan it, and it will either etch or cut out what you've drawn. So it's amazing. You don't even need to use like Illustrator to actually design something. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
So jealous.
I know.
Yeah, so
it's cool.
Every time I see someone that has one, I'm like, okay, so as soon as it comes down to like 2,500, I'll buy it.
Well, and okay, so here's the difference. There's 3 models, right? The Pro, it just has a higher class laser, so it's going to go faster. And then it also has a pass through. So if I wanted to do something really long, like say I wanted to create this like tall piece that had like, you know, a ruler, like for kids to like stand up to and mark where they've grown, and you don't want to do it on your wall or something. You can pass through a large piece like that and it'll etch out all the little, you know, notches of the ruler. Or you can step down and go into the lower class lasers, which are going to be a little bit slower than that one. And for some reason, we decided to go with the Pro, and we've yet to do anything large in it. So everything's been small. I'm like, did we really need that? And then, of course, my brother's like, yes, we did. Yes, we did. I'm like, okay.
Well, just think of how much more productive you are now, too. Yes. You don't have to wait for the GlowForge. It'll just be done like that.
And we've taught my mom how to use it. So the other business that I own with her and my brother is called A&L Monogram. And we do the keychains, and we do like little monogram keychains and that sort of thing. And I've been able to teach her how to do it, you know, and she's pretty intuitive on things, but sometimes you got to teach her how to do it like several times, but even she was able to like pick it up. So it's very, very easy to do. So yeah, she pretty much manages the orders and that sort of stuff for that, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I wish everybody had one because I think they're fun.
Yeah, I know I do.
I know. And then we were like, oh, let's look at those CNC machines. We could I'm like, what are we gonna do with one of those? Which was like, is like kind of like a drill bit that cuts out wood and stuff. I'm like, there's no space. Where would we put it? My brother's like, I can put it in my garage. I'm like, okay. But no, I'm not there yet. The GlowForge is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having two. It would be kind of neat to have two to be able to just kind of keep going. But yeah, it's fun. A lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys hear that? She loves it so much she wants two of them. All right. So if you guys are interested, Holly, how can they get in touch with you? Where's the best place to find you?
Sure. If you go to my website at hollypixels.com, you'll be able to find all my social media links and everything there. I'm mostly on Instagram, social media wise. So at Holly Pixels. Okay. Yeah. And
I know I'm going to get this question. So do you do one-on-one coaching with other creatives, or do you do custom design work for others?
I don't do any of that. Like I think I said before, like I'm just not a service oriented artist. So I don't like the pressure. Some people don't know this about me. I do care for my grandmother who has Alzheimer's. And so to try to have my schedule where somebody else is relying on me like that would just be like too much pressure. I can't do it. Yeah. So I tend to tell people where they can go for like a logo designer or something like that. Yeah.
Got it. All right, cool. So speed round, you ready?
Okay.
So this is the question everyone wants to know. Okay. Physical planner, which one do you use? What brand are you using?
As far as physical planners go, I have a Kiki K. Is that what you call it? I think is.
Yeah. Kiki K.
Yes. In mint. So pretty.
Sweden. Now, did you order that online? Because there's like 3 stores in the US.
I did. I ordered it last year. I think it was last year when I ordered it. Yeah.
Cool. And last question, what's your favorite dessert?
Oh gosh, I have to have one. I love a malted milkshake. Malted is like my favorite. So I like to have that. That's good.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. And I will leave all of Holly's information below, and we'll see you guys later.
Awesome. Thank you.